Muddy Waters gave Tyrone a harmonica and his uncle Stevie Ray Vaughan gave him his first 2 guitars.
This is true. I remember checking out it. Stevie at Andertons, 10 people in the crowd on a Sunday night. He came to my 5th birthday and brought it to me. Now, it wasn't in a case or anything. He had it 2 paper grocery bags on either end. And just said,
wow,
here you go.
That's crazy.
But when you have Stevie saying, Jimmy's boy's going to be a player, that's the nod to say,
Yeah.
After Stevie died, my dad didn't play guitar for about a year, right, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Pedal Porn Podcast. Today we are in Austin, Texas, which I've been dreaming of saying that since I was like 10 years old. We're here with the one and only Tyrone Vaughan.
What's up, brother?
Mate, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for
having me.
Mate, it's awesome. I feel like there's no better way to start a podcast than reading a quote of this magnitude because this is just ridiculous. On your website, it says, at an early age, Muddy Waters gave Tyrone a harmonica and his uncle Stevie Ray Vaughan gave him his first 2 guitars.
This is true.
That is just crazy. I mean, like, that is just insane. But can you take us aback a bit? Like, what was it like to be brought into a family which is just...
Well,
yeah.
I would say, this was all back in the 70s, around Austin, Dallas and Austin area. And I have to say that, this was a town full of the arts. You could come here, you could be a hippie, you could play your music, you could do your art here and be welcomed.
Yeah.
So it was an opportunity for everybody. But I have to say that, back before I think Stevie and Jimmie really got famous and really got known for what they do, it was just not, I remember checking out it. Stevie at Andertons, 10 people in the crowd on a Sunday night or a Monday night,
Wow.
And it just, I don't think we ever really thought about it, I think we take it all for granted now.
Yeah.
Because those are good old days.
Yeah. It's easy to look back and see the success now.
True. Clifford Antone brought the blues to Austin. He started Antone's music, Antone's nightclub. He was just bringing all the great blues players down.
Yeah.
And my dad was basically the house band for a lot of these guys. The Thunderbirds were getting started back then.
Yeah.
And Stevie followed suit. He was 4 or 5 years younger than my dad.
Yeah.
But they were just some of the better guitar players around Texas, and it's just what they did. It wasn't until later, until MTV came out, and Thunderbirds had some videos on there. Stevie came out with some videos, 86, 87, and it was just like, wow, look at this, Stevie did the Let's Dance video album with David Bowie. And it was a trip at that point. When they started to come up in the music scene, it was a trip. But back when Muddy gave me a harmonica, I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
I was just a kid running around. We were Antone's kids. There was a bunch of us.
That's crazy.
And like I said, Stevie gave me my first 2 guitars. This was back before he had a bunch of money and just... Is
this one of them?
Yeah, he was getting pawn shop guitars. This is a mid-60s Harmony guitar right here. And, he was so excited he came to my 5th birthday and brought it to me. Now, it wasn't in a case or anything. He had it 2 paper grocery bags on either end. And just said,
wow,
here you go.
That's crazy.
But it was very cool. He had a 45 of the Cobras. He was in a band called Paul Ray and the Cobras, and they had a 45, and he signed that.
Wow.
And he gave me his Cobra jacket. It was pretty cool.
That is insane.
But when you have Stevie saying, Jimmy's boy's going to be a player, that's the nod to say,
Yeah.
And I don't know any better. I'm just a musician like everybody else. I'm addicted to playing guitar. I love to plug in. I love to write songs and sing, and I love to go on tour and do the whole thing.
Yeah. How much of that do you think is to do with being, around
raised in it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it lends to it. It's in my blood. It's in my bones.
Because you can't necessarily. When I hear you play, it's insane, and you enough practice wouldn't even get you there. You have to have something almost in you. Would you agree with that? It's like
I agree. It's in the water. It's in the soil.
So they could have. You could have been, told like, oh, you should be a guitar player. But you hear some guitar players and they might not have that thing, but you do. So
I think so. Yeah, I appreciate it. really it's about trusting yourself. Something that my dad and Stevie do is they trust themselves when to start, when to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know when to fold, they know when to hold. And as a musician, you need to have that confidence. You know, I'm the player, I'm playing for you, you've paid for money for a ticket, trust that I can, you know.
Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it? Letting go and just,
Yeah, just be yourself, you know.
Yeah.
You have to go through everybody to kind of get a little bit over here, a little bit over there.
Actually, that's something that I love, which Jimmie, your dad, has said. Yeah. He's like, play what you want to hear.
Yeah.
He talks about that quite a lot, doesn't he? It's like
it's a bit tricky to do it rather than just say it. What do you want to hear? And Billy Gibbons says that too. Like, what is it? And some people say dance around what the first thing you hear in your head, play something around it. So it's interesting to you know, when do you, how much do you take from other people? How much of it is your own? You know, it's a melding pot every night of everything. Everything you've ever done should be coming out of your guitar. And that's what's cool, because you take pride and you have integrity.
Yeah.
You're a musician. You know, you have to earn that within yourself.
Yeah.
Forget the world. Just with you and your instrument, you need to become, you know, efficient, proficient. You know, you need to learn it. So once you learn that, people can't take it away from you.
100%.
And then what we can do with it and what we can offer to the world is kind of just up to us.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
One thing that I found is once I was playing at home to backing tracks, it was a very comfortable environment. But when I went on stage, everything I knew, almost I had to learn again.
Yes.
And
It's I like that. I like that though, because you know, it's like a live wire. It's like electricity. You just got to grab it and then you start laser focusing it.
Yeah.
It's a wild hair, man. But it's electric and it's alive, and that's why we play. That's why we plug in, because there's times I've seen you play, bro. You're in the zone, or whatever you want to say it. You're cooking with grease. I mean, you've got speed, you've got soul. You know what I love your playing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, mate.
Very cool.
I really appreciate that. Today we went to the Guitar Centre and we was plugging in this guitar at the Cream Dream Strat. Like there's something about this Strat, but watching you play in person and with some of the techniques, I was just I didn't expect to be that moved in person, because
cool.
As I was saying before, there's something about watching someone on Instagram, but then feeling it and seeing it in person, it's like, what? How's this?
It was cool. I mean, it's like, hello, just meeting you today. I'm like, you're in Texas. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I was just kind of doing some of the. It's that little.
Yeah. To me, there's nothing more badass than that sound. Like you could get someone who's shredding super fast. They've got 10 fuzz pedals. But that, you just hit the groove and you got that going. You can't beat it.
That's what I appreciated my dad's playing, is he had like a groove. He would dig a groove that you couldn't get out of, and he was never in a hurry. He always walked. Maybe he jogged a little bit, but he never ran.
Yeah.
And I admire that, because he's just staying true to what he wants to hear. You know.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, it's kind of like Albert King said to Stevie. You know, a lot of guys out here, they play fast and they ain't got no soul.
100%.
They don't concentrate on no soul. He said, but you got them both, you know. And there is a lot to be said about that. When to speed up and when to slow down. You know, it's all preference.
Yeah, but I've never heard, like, for example, Jimmie Vaughan play anything that is untasteful.
Right. It's always going to be it's like he's like a chef. You know, it's always going to be a nice plate of food.
Yeah, he never just churns it out. It's literally always classy and almost understated in some ways, but like cuts through more than someone shredding it. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, he's like a clinic. Every night when you go to see him play live, you realize he's playing, you know, 60 years of all the classics and all. I mean, I hear stuff in him. I'm like, I've never heard him play that before. You know, he's forgotten more than we probably know. He's one of those guys. Yeah. I mean, the depth of this guy is unbelievable. You can't really believe it. Now, talk about playing in person. When you go to his house, he's got guitars everywhere, and he's always just playing. And when he plays, I don't know how to describe it. I'll try it. But his hands, they fall right. They're like correct. where my hands, your hands, everyone's hands, we're all trying to get there. I'm not saying that we don't have a lot of stuff down.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason, when he puts his chords, his fingers in his chords, and he does his stuff, it just looks correct. Whatever, I don't know what it means, the right way or the wrong way, but it looks right. Okay?
I know what you mean.
And it translates, and I get it. Okay, he's just one of these guys that he's got such great hands. Now Stevie had a pair of hands, even like Nosferatu. They were just like E.T. long, like Jimi Hendrix fingers, or I don't know.
I was talking about this with someone recently. Would you say his hands were disproportionately big to his body?
They are. They're almost like bricklayers' hands.
Yeah.
You know, now the Vaughans did have like big forearms. You know, like
I noticed when
big
I saw
arms already.
Yeah, I noticed when I saw you on stage, there was something about it might have been like your arm or something. It looked like Stevie's or something. I was thinking it's just the Vaughan arm.
It's the Vaughan arms and stuff like that. It's very similar, but. You know, Stevie and Jimmie, there's a thread there's a common thread that you can tell where they came from the same place.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmie taught Stevie how to play. Stevie learned from Jimmie how to pick out licks from, you know, albums and records.
Yeah.
And they were really good at emulating and really nailing the tone and the technique.
Yeah.
Even so far as to push the note a little bit.
Oh yeah.
A little bit out of key, like a Lightning Hopkins type vibe, which Lightning's just doing it. He's not, you know, trying.
That's right. Yeah.
And my dad, he just does it naturally too. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, no need to correct it, to leave it.
Yeah. Do you mind telling the story you told me?
Well, okay, I was saying that, you know, after the big record deals, my dad, they were just recording out of his house, and it was just me and the engineer. They bring a Pro Tools rig up, and it's just me, my dad, and the engineer. And my dad's cutting the solos. And the engineer leans in and goes, "Hey Jimmie, you wanna run that one again? Just go ahead and tune up this time." And my dad's like, "No, that was it." And he came back and we listened to it back, and it was slightly out. Yeah. But it was slightly beautiful. It was just like, that's it. So he knows best. You know, he knows. He was there from in the beginning. You know, he was one of the baddest guitar players at Dallas when he was 15. Yeah. You know, and he was, you know. Everybody welcomed him. Freddie King and all these guys.
A few years back, you in 2019, you was inducted to the
Texas Blues Hall of Fame.
Huge deal.
Yeah, it was great. I got to write a song for my dad's album, Do You Get the Blues? The album won a Grammy in 2001, I believe. And I got to play on the record. And it was an amazing experience.
Right,
you know, just to be on that caliber of a record.
We were talking before, weren't we, about picking your mentors wisely. When you're around this blues royalty, it rubs off you.
Yeah, and you know, my big thing lately is I did 2 records with Cyril Neville from the Neville Brothers. Right. I wrote 3 or 4 songs with him, and I toured. I did 6 European tours. Probably did about 250 tours with him, and man, that's a living legend right there. Yeah. You're talking about, he's been on the road since 1965. He opened up for the Stones worldwide tour in '75. You name it, he's done it. He's played with everybody. Yeah. He's a one-take man in the studio. He just takes one take on his vocals, and he can't even beat himself. Wow. You know, he's just, just to be able to hang out with these guys, because you know, we're all dreaming about it, and they've been doing it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. When did you realize that you were cut out for the road? Because it's not an easy experience, is it? It's not. When I got my first band, Breed Love, I was about 21, and we did some Texas stuff. You know, Dallas, Houston, Austin. You kind of just making the rounds. Yeah. Texas is pretty big, so we got some of that tour. You know, once you get a taste of a little bit of money, paying your bills with music, it's addictive. Addictive. Yeah. So they had that going for us. We cut a record out at Willie Nelson's place, Pedernales, and you know, we sold like 10,000 copies of our first record on our own. That's back in the 90s, in the late 90s. That's a massive deal, yeah. And so we were on to something, but that's when I knew, I was like, this is for me. You know, I'm you know. But you have to understand too, when I was 19, I went on the road with my dad. After Stevie died, my dad didn't play guitar for about a year, right, as you can imagine. But when he finally did, he came back strong. He got a record deal with Sony, and they gave him, he got the Strange Pleasure record. That was his first solo record after the Family Style record, right? And that's when Renee Martinez was teching for him. They had a semi bringing the sound in, bringing the lights in, every place we went. So I got I got my eyes opened how things ran.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot.
Wow.
To understand what the road was like, to be 19 and, going from like Texas all the way to Canada, all the way to Toronto, hitting all the big cities in between was pretty amazing. It had a big effect on me.
Yeah.
And I was just playing a lot of guitars when I really started digging in and playing a lot.
Yeah.
Playing about 5 hours a day. And
you paid your dues.
Yeah, that really got me going. And then when I went back on tour with them, I got to play with them out in California. I got to sit in one, and that is big time. To be able to share the stage, and I got to cut heads with Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
And Billy might be one of the biggest influences out there.
Yeah.
To this day. I mean, but Texas has got so many players. I mean, the list is long.
Yeah. We were saying today that the community here, even now today, is it's something that most cities and most countries would want to strive for, because would you still say it's classed as the music
capital of the world?
Yeah.
To a degree. I think there's a lot of those now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even go to New Orleans or Nashville or Chicago or Austin. They're not the music capitals, but they are the music capitals. I don't think there's just one. I think there's several.
Yeah. And they've all got different flavors, aren't they?
Well, it's different flavors, and there's an abundance. There's not just one club. There's several clubs. There's not like one player. There's several players in town. You're like, you might miss somebody, because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
These are just music towns. And, Bonnie Raitt would sit in a Saxon pub, a 200-seater club over here, just 5 minutes from here.
Wow. Yeah.
On a Wednesday, no one knows she's there, and just come in and who's a who knows. And it's like a special deal, but that's kind of Austin for you.
Would you say the cultural, like the food and just the vibe here, the heat, everything about it, would you say that influences music as much as anything else?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of blues, but you got a lot of rock here too, but you also got a lot of country, and then you have a lot of like Tejano, Tex-Mex, okay? Like Freddie Fender, they're from South Texas. Doug Psalm, this is the Texas Tornadoes, okay? This is where they're mixing accordion with blues and rock.
Whoa, okay.
And so there's a lot of flavor in Texas,
Yeah.
But I guess it's just so big. So many great artists came out of every genre here.
Have you got any advice for up and coming guitarists that might not have any people around them, any good guitar teachers? How would you say they should approach it nowadays? What would be your advice to someone?
To get good at guitar, you got to figure out what it's going to take. So I think for everybody, they got to kind of figure that out. Because I think it's more of a journey.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, okay, do your 10,000 hours and you're there.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of a way of life.
Yeah.
And you got to be doing it for a long time before you even kind of like feel good in your own boots.
It's not so clinical, is it? We got told at school you put in your 10,000 hours at anything and you'll be good at it, but it's a bit more than that with music, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just, and there's so many different avenues to go down in your music. Who knows? I mean, because there's more than just playing. You got your music business.
Yeah.
You got your marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got people who are not that great at music, but are amazing marketers.
Yeah.
And you have just the opposite. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And you get out there on the road and you're like, oh.
This is what it is, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little lonely out here, but you got to figure it out for yourself if you're gonna be out there in at that capacity.
Yeah.
But if you some people just have it. They're like road dogs. The road, they don't mind the road. They're kind of cut out for it.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of find that out.
Yeah.
I think some cats put in a lot of time and then they go out on the road. And you're like, maybe a little too much for them for whatever reason. So
But like I say, some of the guys, I know some guys that would go when they were on their down days back at home with their wife watching things on TV. They couldn't sit still and they had to get back out.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And like you say, if you're cut out for it or not. And
yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely, I call them road dogs.
Yeah.
I've always felt like a road dog.
Yeah.
I like going out. You know, and I can stay out for a while before I'm like.
How long is it until you get a bit touchy on the road?
About a month.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's a good run.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more than that, it gets a bit.
Yeah, you're really.
Yeah, you're just a zombie or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, zombie. I mean, but as a musician, I like to be well-rounded. Try to write songs. Try to sing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and that's one thing I picked up actually. Your voice is, and we were talking a bit about this before actually. Your voice is distinctive, and but you're a great singer. You've got like you've got the sound that complements your own playing tremendously.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really mean that.
Well, that's a good compliment. I'll take that. You're trying to line up who you are with your instrument, but I always found it challenging to try to write a good song, and it's so rewarding. Like if you write a song, you're like, it starts off with a lick that I haven't really heard yet, and you're like, I love the way it comes off. Where have I heard that? Not really heard anywhere. Then I'll get some good lyrics that'll fit the lick. Like these lyrics match, And the next thing I know, I'm like, am I a songwriter? Because a good song is a good song, and anybody can write it. You just never know where it's going to come from. And if you can tap into that, man, now you're a songwriter. You're not just a guitar player. Now we have our guitar playing. We run similar stuff, similar scales, similar vibe, touch, feel, tone. We're just guitar players. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
So work on your vocals, because vocals, what I've learned is it's sustained speech. If you can talk, you can sing. I don't think I'm a real natural. I don't think the Vaughans maybe are the most natural singers. Although Stevie is a pretty tough singer when it was all said and done. And I like my dad's voice. He's really got something.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And but I think it's important to just start trying to sing. Okay. Get out there. If you don't open your mouth and sing, it's not going to do. No one can do it for you. And take some pride in your vocal, like you do with your guitar. Take some lessons. Do some YouTube stuff. I'm just saying this in general. Just anybody. I'll still do it to this day. I'm always working on those vocals, and I think that's key. If you can write a song and sing a pretty good tune and play some badass guitar.
What more do you want? Some of the songwriting with someone like Doyle Bramhall, the junior was the second. It's like there's so much amazing songwriting there, which might get overlooked in the current whatever, because a lot of people online might be looking for the blistering guitar solos, but
it's true.
When you take a step back and listen to the songwriting.
Yeah, Doyle he's so musical. It's a good word to describe him, because he's not going just to blaze and rip for no reason. He's going to sizzle and smolder. He's more of a tone guy. He can rip those licks with the best of them, but I'm more into, damn, that was soulful how he approached it, or like how he landed, or how he got out of it. Versus maybe like the speed. Some
guitarists go for the speed a lot. I mean, I sometimes get this weird urge inside of me to just go for it, and I don't have the technique to actually put it off, but my mind is telling me to do it, so I feel like I need to try and go for it. But
what I was noticing about Stevie, because Stevie had all the speed that you needed, but he was so soulful with his playing. So what I noticed about Stevie is when he would start like getting fast and start doing the faster licks, he would take his time getting there. So it was more of a bigger deal. Like, here we go. We're picking up the pace. We're moving faster now. I'm fixing to show you some speed. But he doesn't get there. He brings you along with him.
Is that why you think his faster playing was so clean? Because you never hear him mess up. Because he's warming up to it.
Yeah. He takes your ear. Because your ear is slow. His hands are fast. So he's making sure that you come with him, and that's what I call soulful playing. Is when even in his speed, he's gearing up to it, he's ramping up to it, now he's nailing it, and then he comes out of it beautifully. A lot of guys are so fast, so quick, they don't go from A to B, they just jump right to it. They were playing something soulful, then they went straight to something so quick. So, a lot of times, like my dad said, look, it sounds like a lot of times people are up there practicing on stage.
Right? Yeah.
He's like, you're supposed to do that at home.
Right.
So that's one of the best quotes is like, it sounds like you're practicing up there.
100%.
So, I'll see, and, I'm just a player. We're just talking about it, but
100%.
I see a lot of players are just, there's no rhyme or reason for it. Why did you go to that scale? Why are you moving that quickly? You were doing so well.
Yeah.
And I can't do it like Stevie, but I kind of understand the concept of it. So I always try to tell myself, my dad used to say, just play less is more. Don't try to showboat. Just that'll come out cleaner, trust me, right? And whenever I try to do something fast or quick, I would mind myself. You know, okay, I know I'm gonna. Here comes the quick lick. Let me make it more dramatic, or take my time getting to it.
Yeah.
Because you know, Stevie was like every note, he was into it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, to hit this note here, it's taking everything I have. Okay, the next note's the same way. So he's got that feel like everything is coming out of him. It's not like he's playing along and, oh, here comes something. This is every damn note, okay?
Yeah.
So he's got that vibe where he's just like, you know, here it comes, you know, where other guys are just like, it's like, where are you in your, are you feeling what you're playing? Is it in your gut? Is it in the bottom of your feet? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I actually recently broke down one of Stevie's faster licks, and even when it's broken down, every note was played with some ridiculous intensity and cleanness, and I was like, it's still impossible. It's just insane.
Well, that kind of separates the hero.
Well, I need to ask you on that note. I need to ask you, what's your sort of opinion on some of the? Well, I mean, we have to say, like, Stevie's impact on the, you know, musical world right now is something that I don't think we could ever have imagined. Like,
yeah, none of us, right? Even me and my dad were just like, wow. But I think it's flattering. You know, I think it's very flattering. It's a ode to Stevie. It's a nod to Stevie saying, look, man, you figured some shit out, and we love you for it. You know, and it's moved the world back then, and it's still moving the world.
Yeah.
And so be it, man. We'll take it how we can get it.
Yeah.
You know, he was only here for 35 years, and he made a big impact, kind of like Hendrix. He's got a lot of good work out there. I mean, he's got several records, several hits that we all love that we can go to, and those records were made fantastic. Those are incredible records, every one of them.
Timeless, and just will be there forever. It's
just what, you know, they were going in there live and cutting those things, and you know, the fact that everybody is still into that sound, it's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I certainly love it.
I was having a chat with my stepdad. Got me into Stevie when I was like 10 or whatever, and he used to tell me stories of like people would appreciate Stevie back in the day, but we can't believe what we're seeing now online. It's become a whole thing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But like I say,
it's out of control.
Take it however you can get it, because it's the worst thing is, you know, they say a person truly dies when their name is spoken for the last time. Yeah. And that's why all these guys now are carrying the.
Exactly. I mean, I see a lot of guys, like we talked about Jimmy Page, where it's like, okay, they kind of got a Jimmy Page feel or vibe, but I think most guys are like went through Hendrix. Like when I see somebody play, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Hendrix thing, you know? Because I mean, or now it's a Stevie thing. You know, Stevie is almost is up there with Hendrix as far as people trying to emulate or go for what they were getting. Yeah. And it's wild, you know?
Yeah, because Hendrix, I mean, it's Hendrix.
It's Hendrix.
Yeah, and but I would definitely agree. You can put Stevie in the same sentence with anyone now, and it's not out of place. It's
I think he arrived. He's there.
Are you able to tell us a bit about your album, Rock and Roll Soul?
Yeah, that's a record that I'm still working on, actually. It was a 6-song EP, and I started writing the songs during COVID. And my mom passed away, so I got a song on there about her. It's called Break Into Heaven, because basically I'm going to have to break in there if I want to hang in there, hang with her. But that's a good tune. It's soul songs, I would say. It's soul music.
How did something like COVID affect you as a musician?
Oh God, just, you know, I guess the whole world shut down. So I didn't gig for 2 years. Ended up selling some gear to survive. You know,
like every other musician.
Like everybody did, and it was absolutely horrible. You know, the one thing that was good at, because I got to stay home with my kids and I got to really catch up. I had a son right before COVID hit, so it was nice to be able to be there those crucial 2 or 3 years. You know, he's 4 now, so you know, that was a blessing. You know, and so I think a lot of us would take that, but it was a time to be creative, and I got to go to the studio a lot and just work on stuff, and it was I A difficult time, but I think we're all going to be okay.
Yeah, it seems we're out of the worst of it now, but it seems everyone's said a similar story in terms of they've got a family. It was nice that they actually saw them.
I loved it. Yeah. The best.
As you evolve in your musical career, do you actually want to be gigging more or gigging less? How are you going to approach it?
Oh, I'm gearing up to gig a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 10 or 15 years in me, and I'm going to go hard. You know, I had a lot of things going for me before COVID. And now that COVID's done, I've got some stuff on the horizon that's pretty nice. Been doing some international stuff.
Yeah.
But right before COVID hit, I went to Australia and I headlined a festival under my name. It was my first big show out there, and it was great. But I had to cancel the tour. I had to cut it short because of COVID. I was almost going to get stuck in Australia, so I had to get over to the States right away.
Yeah, I know a few guys did get stuck there. So it's scary.
Very.
Yeah.
So. After COVID, I did get to go to Spain. I headlined in Barcelona Santaco Blues Fest.
Oh, nice.
Nice festival, bro. Very, very cool. Played with some great musicians out there. And then that same year, I guess this was last year, I went to South America. Played in Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. And it was just fantastic. I mean, the blues scene everywhere, people love it. You know, you can hear a pin drop. The States are okay, but places like you go to Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah, packed houses. Just people really appreciate all things.
Yeah, I've noticed that compared to if I've toured in Europe in the past compared to the UK, it's a different vibe there. You go there, people come out and they really appreciate what you're doing, and they're really thankful that you've come to their place, aren't they?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
that's why we still do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going to that, you would never go to somewhere like Chile, maybe it's not something that you talk about for your holidays, maybe, but going for you get taken to these amazing places.
Yeah, you just don't know until you go, and then you're like, wow, they're so appreciative. I mean, there's little blues communities everywhere that you just wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were saying before when we got here in Austin, and we did an Instagram post just saying we're here in Austin. Within 10 minutes, 50 guys saying, "Oh, we need to meet. Let's go check out this club."
I love it.
Crazy, and it's like we were talking before. You can go anywhere in the world now, and it's like there's a community of guys online who are blues fans, pedal fans, gear fans.
Total.
And they all have the same sort of vibe,
I love it. But that's the greatest thing about it.
I feel like it'd be a massive train wreck if we didn't talk about guitar gear a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we'd get crucified in the comments. But how do you approach your mindset when it comes to gear? Like what's going through your mind for picking a rig?
Well, we were talking about it with Mimi.
Yeah.
And she was saying how she got one of her first Strats. I think her mom got her, but it just didn't ever play well.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, is finding a Strat that plays well is a little bit harder than you imagine.
That's right, yeah.
So it's kind of per guitar for me. I'm like, why does this guitar feel great, but this one doesn't? And it has a lot to do with everything, the way the pickups are set up, the way the neck is set up, the action, of course, what pedals you're running through and what amps you're running through. Now, personally, I did figure out a long time ago that I'm more of a clean tone cat. But if I'm running guitar, if I'm running two dry pedals, I got them set one clean and one cleaner. It's just sounds better. I can hear my hands.
Yeah. But when you set up this rig today with the Cream Dream Strat and I think it was going for a Fender Twin.
Yeah, it's a Twin.
But it was I've never really played through such a clean amp, but it made me approach guitar in such a different way. And I was like, you opened my eyes to something like
that. It sounded right, didn't
it? Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Well, that's what my dad said. He said you could take over the world with a Twin and a Tube Screamer.
That's the best quote ever. Yeah, that's crazy.
But those Twins are so damn loud.
Oh, but we actually got told to turn down, didn't we?
Yeah. They would kind of ran everybody out there. That was when I play rhythm guitar, I'll have all my pedals set, and then I'll play my rhythm on 7.5 or 8, and then when I go to my lead, then I go like that. Like my dad, he'll turn everything up, and then he'll come back a little bit to 9 for his leads.
Okay.
He says it sounds better than to have it opened all the way.
Oh, really?
He doesn't do that. He always brings it back a little bit for whatever reason. Just to say. pick. I hold the pick like Stevie did. You know.
Wait. Oh, I need to ask you about this because I recently did a video about this. And I don't know if I got it. I don't know if I got it crazy wrong or not. But let me. Have you can I spoil that a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So most people, if I'm thinking correctly, they'd hold it with the sharp bit.
Yeah.
Did Stevie turn it like that?
Play the butt end of it.
Yeah, okay. So for some reason, I've always done that naturally.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
But I don't know why. But I don't know if I don't. Maybe it's bad.
It's interesting because let me see. So I mean, most folks are like this, you know, and you're only getting a very. It's not a lot of. But he's with the fat end of it.
Yeah.
You know,
you can hear the difference.
Like that versus like this when you first started out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's something you get used to, honestly.
Yeah.
And once I went like that, I don't go back. You know, I do the hybrid picking as well. Most people do that, you know.
Yeah.
You get all your high E.
Yeah,
you're just doing all that. When you get to your high E, you want to like hybrid pick it if you can.
See, that's something that I picked up naturally, but I don't know how. It's just
cool.
It felt intuitive to do both those things of using the hybrid picking. Yeah, it's interesting.
And so it's just, you know, if it's it's either one or the other. It's I don't even know if it's right or wrong. It's just what it is, and it's kind of like you know, you don't have any picks around the house, and you found one pick, it's a light pick, and you hate light picks.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you get it down, you're like, you know, I like the light pick. You know,
you can do more funky like
all of a sudden, you know. So it doesn't matter what it kind of get used to.
But the ironic thing is, when I hold my pick upside down, which I always do, I get so many comments saying, "Why is that guy holding his pick like that?"
Oh, crazy! I didn't know.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
but I don't know why. I've never seen anyone say that about Stevie. Like, why is he holding it like that? But maybe it's because they can't see closely enough, or.
And I think I just saw Stevie do it from video. I just saw him. You know, I don't think I heard of that he did that. I think I just saw it.
Right. Yeah. Have you got any sort of like secret tips that Jimmie or Stevie have given you in the past, that like tone tips or technique tips that you could share?
One was like. Yeah, Jimmie's lead tone is going to be backed off. Stevie basically did the Hendrix stuff, you know, where he uses his thumb a lot. And Hendrix also, along with Stevie, like they'll play two strings with one finger, you know, to leave more room. So like if I'm gonna, right, I'm playing these. I'm basically.
Yes.
But
okay.
Right. So this one I'm covering with.
Yeah.
So what it does is it leaves this right. So I don't have to do this.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. I'm going. Or if I do this, I'm covering these two strings with this finger. See?
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Like when I make my E, I don't do it like that. I do it like that.
Whoa. Okay. It's funny because you can't see that you're doing that. You can only hear it.
But Hendrix did that. Stevie got it from Hendrix, so we learned it from like that. So it's like. That's all.
Is it originally a Curtis Mayfield thing, or was it Hendrix?
I thought it was Hendrix, but Curtis was for, you know,
somewhere in there. Yeah, I've heard both. But, yeah.
But that's another little technique thing. And at first you're like, it's kind of hard at first.
Yeah.
But then in a week or two, you're like, that's how. Then you convert. You're like, oh, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah.
Now it's not wrong or right. No. Too. I mean, like a lot of guys do it like this. You know. That's just a that's a bar chord. But I never liked the look of bar chords.
There's something about it, isn't there?
So Hendrix would hide it like this. Stevie, you couldn't even tell what he's playing sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they're disguising it.
Yeah.
Which is cooler. Versus, you know, I just learned how to play by chords. So, and I think too, if you have, you know, just dynamics in your show, you know, you can also bring the volume down.
Yeah.
You know, practice at low volume.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get all your runs going at a low volume.
Yeah.
Don't always have to be on 11, you know, 10 or 11 just to like.
Yeah, so some of those, you know, those like fast Riviera Paradise clean.
Oh, yeah, and insane.
It hurts my head to this day. It's like, it's unfathomable to me at least. And
Lance Lopez, I just saw a video of him. I think he's out there in California right now. He was playing so low volume, but he was just ripping. That's so you know, so cool.
Yeah, I heard Lance saying that this wasn't a quiet show, I don't think, but I heard Lance Lopez playing Isabella, the Hendrix track, and he went off on one, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
No, he's a fool, man. He's one of the top cats.
Who would you say to look out for on the Texas scene, like up and coming guys?
Dave Shearer. He just did a run with Eric Johnson.
Okay.
Playing guitar in Eric's band.
Oh wow.
That's how good he is.
Oh, okay, that must be.
Yeah. Dave Shearer. He's in Austin. I think he's plays next week.
Well, to play with Eric Johnson, you must hit a lot of criteria. Yeah.
This guy. You can look him up. He lives here in Austin. Dave Shearer. Sher. Dave Shearer.
Okay.
Dave Shearer.
Nice. Yeah, check him out.
Other cats, Gary Clark Jr. came out of Austin. I guess Zapata's right there with him. Wes Jeans and Lance Lopez, they've been mainstays for a while.
Nice. I think we're meeting Wes tomorrow, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a great guy and a killer player.
Yeah, we've known him for years. I can't wait to meet him. And yeah, a bunch of guys were we're going to come out to the one of the Tommy Katona gigs and say hey. And yeah, any other guitarists around the world that not necessarily from Texas?
Eric Gales,
Yeah.
I got to play with Eric a couple times. And
oh, nice. Yeah, again, he's just a beast, isn't he? Like, it's a different level. Like,
I've got my bag and I do my thing, but this guy can play anything.
yeah.
It's one of those.
That's right. Where would you say the best sort of place to follow your journey is? Like, do you prefer Instagram? Because I know that's how we first met, but where would you say you'd like people to come and say hey?
Yeah, Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, but I got my page back. It was gone for 3 years. Oh, you hear these horror stories where
people... Oh no, it happened to you?
Yeah, it happened to me. So I just got it back. It took me forever to get it.
What, like really recently? Was
just recently. It's like it appeared one day.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying so hard. Anyways, I got it back.
Okay. Were they posting dodgy videos and stuff like that? Because mate, the same thing happened to Tommy as well.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. And he's not got it back yet, and it's just horrible.
It's insane.
That's actually your livelihood, isn't it? They're messing with it.
I was on. I've been on there since 12 years or something. But Instagram, I've been just now catching up. So I'm like, only a few years into that.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like Instagram a little bit better than Facebook, honestly. But you can go to tyronevaughan.net. Is my website.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And we're looking forward to your up and coming album.
Yes, sir.
As soon as that's out, and you definitely have to show me a little thing later. Yeah. I have to say that, Tyrone here gave us the best recommendations you could ever have, because the first night here we went to
Terry's.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then
Black's Barbecue.
Yeah, and the Uber driver was like, "You're going to the best barbecue in Texas on the first night." So you've obviously been guided well. So I appreciate that. But
very cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, mate. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's great to actually meet you.
Talk to you all day.
It's awesome, and guys, if you could head over to Tyrone's Instagram, check out his fiery clips, his awesome voice. Just as you can see, an awesome guy all round. But we really appreciate you watching. We'll catch you on the next one, and cheers.
Thanks, Chris. Later.